Hey everyone, I'm Ken Whiting, host of Paddle Tales, and today we're going to look at 5 pieces of gear that I think you should own. Now, I've been paddling for, I don't want to say how long, but over 30 years. Canoeing, whitewater kayaking, sea kayaking, rafting, stand-up paddling, all types of paddling. But there's 5 pieces of gear that remain a constant that I always make sure I have in working order, and that's what we're going to look at. Before we get started though, please subscribe to PaddleTV if you haven't already, and check out the Paddle Tales web series. There's a link in the description box down below. It's a series that takes you on amazing paddling adventures in some of the coolest paddling destinations in the world. So starting off, number 1, very obvious, a paddling specific PFD. And the type of PFD you get, there is no one size fits all for paddling PFDs, but just having a paddling PFD is a huge step up from a normal PFD or life jacket. Paddling specific PFDs are designed to give you maximum space, room for paddling without impeding your arm movements, your body movements. The way it does it is it focuses the flotation of the jacket where it's not going to get in the way, not around your arms. If you have a kayak that has a high back seat, they cut the flotation away from your lower back so that the seat doesn't push you forward. They have easy to access pockets. Now this one is the NRS Chinook. It's for largely for fishing, great for wreck kayaking or sea kayaking as well. Anything with a high back seat, but very convenient for wreck kayaks. This version, which is the NRS Ninja, is for whitewater kayaking, and it's very low profile. Doesn't get in the way at all when you're moving aggressively in a whitewater kayak. They all provide the same amount or close to the same amount of flotation. They are swimming aids rather than life preservers. Without that big flap on the back of the life jacket that goes behind the neck, the collar, it doesn't keep your head upright like one of those life jackets does. What it does is it makes swimming a whole lot easier. The second piece of gear is a paddling top. Now, not just any paddling top. The paddling top I want to talk about is an anorak style paddling top. This is the Riptide by NRS. Now, I pretty much have all NRS gear here because that's what I use. I love NRS gear. The Riptide paddling jacket, what makes it unique, not unique from any other paddling jacket, but a unique style of paddling jacket, is the fact that it's a pullover. It's got latex gaskets in the wrists. Now, these latex gaskets provide a very solid waterproof seal around the wrists. And that's huge when the weather's cold, when the water's cold, or whether you just get cold easily. Well, you just don't get that dreaded, nasty drip when you lift your arm. It goes right down your arm, down your back, and oh, it's one of the worst feelings in the world as a paddler. So I love on cold days having that latex gasket at the wrist. But what I don't like, unless I need it, is having the latex gasket at the neck. Now, a normal dry top has latex gaskets on your wrists and your neck. It provides great waterproof, cold protection, but it's really not that comfortable around the neck. So these anorak style jackets this has a neoprene, a very comfortable, very stretchy enclosure around the neck. Now it still keeps 95% of the water from going down your back or just getting in at all, but much more comfortable. If you're going to be whitewater paddling and you're going to be flipping a lot in rough water, sea kayaking in really, really rough conditions, a dry top is the way to go. But I think of this jacket, this style of jacket, as like the ultimate paddling specific raincoat, harsh weather raincoat. It deals with, keeps you dry and warm in 95% of conditions, and it's comfortable. I use it on canoeing trips, I use it on sea kayaking trips, I use it on any kind of multi-day trips. That's my jacket. Now, Water shoes, paddling specific water shoes. The common theme here is paddling specific. There's lots of shoes, jackets, PFDs, lots of stuff to choose from, but getting stuff that's designed specifically for paddling makes such a huge difference. Now, these are two types of shoes these are the primary shoes that I use on the water, unless it's really cold conditions. Then I go with a thick neoprene, a different boot, a water boot. This is more of a casual water shoe. I use it for rafting, for sea kayaking, for wreck kayaking, stand-up paddling. The great thing about it is it's great off the water and on the water. When you're walking around town afterwards, it works just great. It drains quickly. It's got the drain holes on the side. The materials all mesh, keeps the stones and sand out pretty well, but lets the water out as well. These boots here I use for whitewater paddling when I'm in a smaller kayak, something that needs to let my foot flex a bit more, or when I know I'm going to be walking on more uneven rocks. These things may not be as comfortable walking on rocks, but the grip you get by having a really flexible sole is amazing. And they keep when you're going to be in a wetter environment, they keep your feet a bit warmer as well. So those are the two primary water shoes I wear. Now, number 4. This is a water bottle. Now, bringing a water bottle down a river or on the lake is something that I think everybody does, but it's amazing how quickly you go through water. Now, this water bottle, this is actually by a company called Grail, and there's a variety of different bottles that do the same thing now, but it's got a built-in filter. So even though when you're paddling, you're surrounded by water, it's amazing how often, at least I find myself getting dehydrated, because you're feeling cool on the water. Even if it's a smoking hot day and the sun's beating down on you, you've got a nice breeze from the water, you're getting cooled down by the water, and sometimes you don't think about drinking that much. You don't bring as much water because you don't want the weight of it in your kayak. You just don't drink as much water as you should because it's not easy to get more water. That's where this comes in. You literally just scoop it up from the river, from the lake, press it. You got to open the top a little bit, let some air out. You press it down and it filters that water and you're good to go. When you're done drinking at that moment, you just dump the rest of the water so you don't carry the weight with you the whole day. So great little tool for day paddles. Great tool for multi-day camping trips. I use this for multi-day sea kayaking trips, canoeing trips, rafting trips, day trips, the works. This is one of those tools that once I got introduced to it, I was like, gosh, where have you been all my life? Cool tool. 5th and final piece of gear is sunglasses. And I know that seems very simple, and it is simple, but a lot of times when you go paddling, you won't bring sunglasses because you're worried about losing them. And the problem with that is when you're on the water, the reflection of the sun off the water, even on a cloudy day, not only, cooks your skin, but it's cooking your eyes. And that leads to headaches. There's long-term damage there. So wearing a pair of sunglasses when you're paddling is absolutely critical. The other cool thing about a pair of polarized sunglasses, if you're kayak fishing, you're stand-up paddling, even if you're wreck paddling and you like standing up, even if you're sitting down, it makes a difference too. But when you're standing up and you're wearing polarized sunglasses and you're looking around, it cuts the glare so much that you can really get a glimpse into the underworld. It's great for fishing. You can spot fish, spot structure and weeds. When you're stand-up paddling, you see those little rocks that can knock you off your board. Not to mention, it's just cool to see the underworld. At the same time, you're protecting your eyes. So, you'll have to come up with a system to, if you're someone who falls in the water a lot and flips a lot, to keep these on you. There's all sorts of sunglass retention systems out there. Some look better than others. To be honest, I typically don't wear, unless I'm whitewater kayaking, a retention system. I don't get a really expensive pair of sunglasses, because I know they have a limited lifespan. They're going to go for a swim at some point. Well, that's about it. Those are the top 5 pieces of gear that through over 30 years of paddling, I've made a staple, no matter what type of paddling that I'm doing. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to PaddleTV if you haven't already, and be sure to check out the Paddle Tales series on our PaddleTV YouTube channel. The link is in the description box down below.